Hello everyone, today is still 19th of December. Now it's 6 o'clock in the evening. I'm Levan Gudadze and this is my third update for the day, in which I will share with you latest key points from latest statement by Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu at an extended meeting of the board of the Ministry of Defense of Russian Federation, which took place today. And this event was main generator of news today. President of Russian Federation did give a speech during this event and did made very interesting and significant statements. On one of those, I did made a second update. And I did share on my Telegram some additional information about Putin's statements, and of course I will talk about it in tomorrow's main update in the morning. But I think it will be good if I will devote separate video to the statements of Russian Defense Minister. Also because he did touch during his report on many key issues in regard to Russian Defense Ministry, Special Military Operation, Military Industrial Complex, and so on. I did print it out, key points of his statement, and I will go through them one by one. I hope you will find this video interesting, and if so, please click that like button, leave some commentary, and share video with your friends. It will definitely help to reach wider audience. So let's go through the key statements. According to Shoigu, Russian armed forces liberated territory 5 times larger than the territory of the LPR and DPR, Lugansk People's Republic and Donetsk People's Republic, before special military operation began. To be more precise, 83,000 square kilometers have been liberated, with a population of more than 5 million residents, 5 million people. Quite interesting number. It's good to know because sometimes I do receive questions exactly about topic of areas that was liberated since the beginning of special military operation, and now we have a precise number. It's more than 83,000 square kilometers for now. These liberated territories will of course increase with time, but that's the data for this moment. Also, Shoigu did said that since the beginning of special military operation, 54 countries worldwide have announced that they will supply Kiev regime with weapons and some other assistance. But in reality, 15 countries actually did supply Kiev regime with weapons. Of course, majority of them are NATO member states. Shoigu also noticed that water area of Azov Sea has become inland sea of the Russia in 2023. This speech of Shoigu basically was summary of 2023 in some sense. And yes, it's factual. In 2023, Azov Sea did become inland sea of Russia. Also, Shoigu noticed that Ukraine received 203 billion US dollars of assistance in financial or military aid, which is 30 billion more than GDP of Ukraine. And in fact, according to Shoigu, Ukraine is a bankrupt country, which is also factual. It's hard to argue with this information. Almost 3 million refugees who have not seen their relatives since 2014 have returned to the new regions of Russian Federation. So 3 million Ukrainian refugees who left Donbass since and other new regions of Russian Federation since some of them even since 2014, now did receive a opportunity to go back to their homes and see their relatives. So quite a number, isn't it? 3 million refugees returned to the native areas, to their homeland. The West supplied Kiev with Shoigu also did spoke in more details about weapons that have been supplied to Kiev regime, and he articulated that NATO member states or collective West did supply Kiev regime with 5,220 tanks, quite precise number, infantry fighting vehicles and armored personnel carriers combined. So altogether, tanks, infantry fighting vehicles and armored personnel carriers that was supplied to Kiev regime amounted to 5,220 units. Also 28 aircrafts have been transferred to Kiev regime, 87 helicopters and 23,000 drones. Also over 1,300 artillery pieces. Many of you probably are wondering how many artillery, for example, pieces, artillery units Kiev regime has left, because of so many videos of destruction of artillery systems of Kiev regime. I do share on daily basis many videos of destruction of Ukrainian artillery on my Telegram channel, and that's quite precise number that just NATO member states did supply, or collective West did supply Kiev regime with at least 1,300 artillery systems. And of course, Ukraine itself did had quite a large number of artillery units before special military operation began. Also, according to Shoigu, NATO military personnel directly control air defense systems and the missile systems of Kiev regime, and they are basically, one may say, they are operating with these systems. Most likely operations with these systems and maintenance of those systems are conducted by NATO military personnel who may be on a leave from military officially, so that NATO member states will maintain this plausible deniability in their hands, and those personnel probably are enlisted on some of the Western private military companies. Although, of course, in some instances, I believe military personnel of NATO countries are directly involved and are presented on the ground in Ukraine. And just recently, if you remember, I did report that according to information that is circulating in internet, in Russian segment of internet, during one of the latest missile strikes of Russian Federation on military infrastructure of Kiev regime, on one of their airfields, 12 NATO, high-ranking NATO officers were killed, and all of them, according to reports, were from Czech Republic and Poland. So they were NATO officers. Simultaneously with that strike, same time, 28, if I'm remembering correctly, 28 high-ranking Ukrainian high-ranking military officials were also neutralized during that strike. It happened on 14th of December. So yes, Defense Minister did highlight this topic that NATO military is in charge basically of air defense systems and military and missile systems when it comes to operations with, let's say, Storm Shadow cruise missiles or Scalp cruise missiles. And also Shoigu mentioned that Russian radio electronic warfare systems and Russian intelligence, military intelligence, did maintain recordings of communication of these NATO personnel when they were talking in they are talking in English, in Pole, and in Polish languages, and Shoigu was quite precise. Some of them were speaking in US accent, in American accent, and some of them in British accent. For specialists, it's quite easy to distinguish, not just for specialists, but ask any any citizens of UK or US, can they distinguish accents? And the majority will say yes, of course. Also, NATO officers, according to Shoigu, prepare military operations, train and armed forces of Ukrainian army, both in Ukraine and in NATO states themselves, which is also correct. The large-scale counteroffensive of Ukrainian army, which began on 4th of June, ended in colossal losses for Kiev regime. And since the 4th of June, since the beginning of this so-called Ukrainian counteroffensive, Ukrainian armed forces lost approximately 159,000 military personnel killed and wounded, said Shoigu in his speech today. Also quite interesting news that 103 particularly brutal Ukrainian war criminals were eliminated on the territory of Ukraine. I guess with these operations were conducted by Russian special forces. If you remember, there were many instances when Ukrainian militaries were executing Russian POWs and were committing war crimes not just against POWs but also against civilians. And Russian side was also, of course, gathering information about war criminals, Ukrainian war criminals, and 103 of them were eliminated. And whoever is still alive will definitely be brought to the justice, one way or another, 100%. During the so-called counteroffensive, Ukrainian forces lost 121 planes, 23 helicopters, 767 tanks, including 37 Leopard tanks, German-made Leopard tanks. I will add that Challenger, at least one Challenger 2 British-made MBT was also destroyed, although rumors are circulating that in reality 3 Challenger 2s were destroyed, although because we only have a video confirmation of one destroyed Challenger, it's hard to say if another 2 were also destroyed. Since that since destruction of this British Challenger, for whatever reasons, Kiev regime stopped using those tanks on the zero line or during their local-scale offensive operations of Ukrainian armed forces. Also 2,348 armored vehicles of various classes were destroyed during the counteroffensive, the so-called counteroffensive alone. The losses of Ukrainian armed forces since the beginning of the special military operation amounted to over 383,000 killed and wounded, according to Russian Defense Minister. So, as we all know, there are speculations on internet. Different experts are articulating with different numbers, but we have now official statement from Russian Defense Minister, according to which since the beginning of special military operation, Ukrainian armed forces lost 383,000 military personnel killed and wounded. One may say that this estimate is very conservative, which is probably true, but yet again, Russian Defense Ministry is operating on confirmed information, I believe, and they cannot share information about, information that they cannot confirm, let's say this way. Huge number, of course. This is a total disaster for Ukraine and Ukrainian society. So many killed and wounded military personnel. But yet again, did Kiev regime or Western masters of Kiev regime ever cared about ordinary Ukrainian citizens? Of course, they never did. Kiev also lost overall since the beginning of special military operation. According to Shoigu, Kiev regime lost about 14,000 tanks and different type of armored vehicles, armored personnel carriers, infantry fighting vehicles, motor vehicles, and so on. Quite a big number. Also 553 aircraft of Ukrainian Air Force have been destroyed, 259 helicopters, 8,510 field artillery guns and MLRS, or multi-launch rocket systems. Also quite huge numbers. So demilitarization of Kiev regime definitely is taking place. The Russian army today is the most powerful and most prepared and combat ready in the world, stated Shoigu. 650,000 military personnel of Russia received combat experience since the beginning of a special military operation, and well, I think it's hard to argue with this statement, because when it comes to combat readiness, when it comes to military experience, Russian army probably is most capable at this point. Also, 272 Russian military personnel were awarded the title of Hero of Russia during the special military operation for actions, for heroic actions that they committed. Engineers, military industrial complex, basically created new weapons for the Russian armed forces in dozens of type of new weapons just in 4-7 months time frame, when usually in peace times work on new types of weapons will usually take 5 to 8 years. So of course the war times are dictating their terms. Everything has to be done quickly, as fast as possible. So nowadays, and we can clearly see these introductions of new type of weapons on the front line. Unbelievable, excuse me. Hello? Interesting. Sorry about that. If I did not answer, this phone will go on with this ring forever. And well, let me continue. So yes, quite a rapid development of new type of weapons and process of modernization of current weapons that are used during the special military operation, and it's clearly noticeable on the front line. And I do share videos in many occasions on my Telegram channel when you can see these new type of weapons have been deployed on the front line. For example, recently we all noticed that even FPV drones that are used by Russian forces are now equipped with night vision equipment. Lots of drones did undergo significant modernization, and new types of Lancer drone have been new generations of Lancer drones have been introduced to the battlefield. One of them has name Scalpel, for example, and there are many other improvements on heavy military equipment. Many of them are now equipped with radio electronic warfare system, compact radio electronic warfare systems. Of course, you all noticed this protective gear on heavy military equipment, tanks, armored personnel carriers, infantry fighting vehicles, and so on. These anti-drone nests and so on. So quite interesting information here. Also, according to Shoigu, military personnel, Russian military personnel in the special military operation zone are provided with artillery munition in accordance with their task. So issue of munition have been sold. At some point, probably you remember, munition for artillery systems especially was issue, and this topic was discussed here in Russia among experts and society quite often. But according to Shoigu, issue have been resolved successfully. Also, he said that survival rate of wounded soldiers has increased ninefold, so has increased significantly, which is also, of course, great news. You may get wounded, but it's not one-way ticket. Military doctors are well prepared and are doing their best to save as many wounded soldiers as possible. And Shoigu did notice this also, and he said that mining depth in the battlefield is up to 600 meters. So Russian forces in areas of active defense are mining approaching territories at least for 600 meters in depth, and this tactic definitely did work, because we all remember how disastrous the so-called Ukrainian counteroffensive was, and how many military equipment of Ukrainian army had been destroyed by mines. The number of foreign volunteers willing to fight for the Russian armed forces have increased sevenfold, according to Shoigu, which is also interesting. I do report time to time on my Telegram, and I do share video and photo material about foreign fighters, foreign volunteers that are fighting back to back or shoulder to shoulder with Russian soldiers from dozens of different countries, and I believe because of their actions, all of them are receiving opportunity to receive Russian citizenship, if they want to, without bureaucratic some obstacles, let's say. Also, let me go through some more important topics. He did spoke about so many topics, but okay, let's go one by one, continue this way. So procedure for obtaining a combat veterans ID has been simplified. They will be issued to all participants of the special military operation in the near future. This is a topic in Russia, topic of discussion in society, because there was issue that PMC Wagner fighters were not receiving IDs, that they are veterans of special military operation. And I believe after the statement of Shoigu, this issue, for example, will be resolved. Also, he said that SMO, special military operation participants, are provided with housing as a matter of priority. 40 billion rubles have been allocated for these needs. In Russia, many different programs are in operation now to support not just participants of special military operation, but their families. I do talk about this topic quite often during the news updates. Last time I spoke about this topic was during the last live stream, Sunday live stream, and well, starting next year, Russian Defense Ministry plans to switch to electronic ID cards for combat veterans. This is also good development, I believe. Rearmament of strategic missile forces have been completed in Russia, according to Shoigu. Russian Navy received 4 submarines this year 4 new submarines and 8 surface ships, different type of surface battleships. Despite the sanctions, production of high-tech weapons in Russia did increase even and surpass production of high-tech weapons in the NATO countries, which is also hardly debatable information, because now we all see that Western leaders and military experts openly are saying that they cannot keep up with production, with production of weapons that are needed, for example, to continue military support for Kiev regime. All plans for recruitment in the army and the navy in 2023 have been fully implemented, according to Shoigu, and the number of military personnel in Russian army and navy increased up to 1,150,000 military personnel. President of Russian Federation, Putin, just recently signed a decree about increase of number of military personnel in Russian army, and in connection with the accession of Finland and the upcoming admission of Sweden into NATO, the formation of Leningrad and Moscow military districts continues. This is response of Moscow on this development. So new additional military districts have been created and are in process of developing. In proportion to external threats, the strength of Russian armed forces will be increased to 1.5 million military personnel. Also interesting news. The ground forces of Russian army received in 2023 1,530 tanks. Quite a number, isn't it? So 1,530 new tanks and also modernized tanks. Not all of them, I believe, are brand new. Some are new, like T-90M, for example, tanks, and some are modernized versions of T-72s and T-80s and T-90s, of course. Also, Russian armed forces did receive this year alone 2,518 infantry fighting vehicles and armored personnel carriers. Quite a significant number. Also, the Russian aerospace forces received 237 aeroplanes and helicopters. Well, who can argue that this number is also quite impressive? 86 samples of anti-aircraft missile detection and 67 radar stations also have been delivered to Russian armed forces. Well, yet again, that's why I wanted to devote separate video to statements, to main points from Shoigu's speech today, because plenty of, big volume of information. Also, Russian Defense Minister said that Pacific Fleet has shown high readiness to repel the aggression of potential enemy from ocean and sea direction. There was quite a number of exercises in Pacific Fleet, and I guess Shoigu has every reason to be sure that Pacific Fleet is ready for combat. The pace of military and military technical cooperation, pace of military and military technical cooperation with 110 states worldwide is increasing. So despite so many statements from Western ruling class that they're gonna isolate Russia, do this and do that, in reality, that's the numbers from Russian Defense Ministry, that Russian military industrial complex is working with cooperation of companies in 110 different countries worldwide. Many foreign countries are in great demand for the experience we acquired during the special military operation, which is quite understandable. Shoigu, rightly so, did noted in his speech that at this point Russian armed forces most likely, and he is absolutely sure that this is the case, are most powerful armed forces in the world, most capable, most battle ready. And I believe this is true 100%, because 650,000 military personnel did gain military experience. This is not the training on some camp somewhere. This is a real battle experience. Despite the threat of sanctions, more and more foreign military industrial companies are becoming participants in the Army Forum that took place in Russia. And this year, on regular basis, this forum is taking place. And this year alone, delegations from 83 foreign countries participated in this forum, and more than a million people did visited forum to get know to modern military technologies, and of course Shoigu did mention Russian group of forces in Syria and in Nagorno-Karabakh, and he said that Russian forces remain the basis and guarantor of peace in Syria and Nagorno-Karabakh. So plenty of very important topics that have been touched by Shoigu during his speech. I did share key points. I did try to share majority of key points at least. And well, I hope you will find this video interesting, and if so, please click that like button, leave some commentary about any topic you like, and share video with your friends. This video can be a good point of reference in the future whenever questions will be raised about any of the topics that I just spoke about, and was mentioned by Russian Defense Minister. Well, you can share a link to this video, and well, answers can be found. So well, that's been said, time to end this this short update, relatively short. It's 33 minutes. And well, if you find finally, I will just mention that if you find my channel, if you find my work interesting, useful and interesting, useful and interesting, I'm a little tired, man. This is a third update, and I have to third or fourth, and I have to do one more video for Rumble exclusively, Telegram reports later on. Quite a busy day. So yes, if you find this channel and my work interesting, useful, informative, and then please consider to support with small donations through PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, or by subscribing to my Patreon page. You can see links under this video in the description box or in the pinned comment. This is it for now. I was thinking to make additional video about latest report of Russian Defense Ministry on progress of special military operation, but I'm too short on time, so maybe today I would not have that video, but in next days, as long as there is interest among our community towards these reports of Russian Defense Ministry, I will definitely try to make separate videos on that topic. So yes, this is all for now. Have a great day, and take care. See you soon.